Thank you for listening to this Podcast One production. Now available on Apple Podcasts, Podcast One, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.
Welcome to Killing Time, hosted by two girls, one goth. Now, when we are going to start recording this episode, Billy was very low energy. He got a glass of whiskey. Like, how do you feel? Do you need like a tickle by Alexis, or what's our energy feeling?
I don't know. It's okay. I think.
Seems low. Nah.
Oh my God.
Nah.
HR.
Nah. Just that giggle is worth it on its own.
The giggle is worth it. Mm-hmm. It's worth listening to our podcast.
That's right.
Always. How are we feeling, guys?
I feel really good.
I'm feeling much better. Thank you.
There we go. The energy's at like an 86, I think that we're at. So
perfect.
We're feeling good. Do we want to jump right into our dark day, Billy?
Yes. So the dark day, and this is a particularly dark day, July 15th, 1974. News reporter Christine Chubbuck shoots herself live on air on a Florida TV station, and she was the first person to take her own life in a live broadcast.
Oh my God.
That's so sad.
So here's what happened. It's an incredibly sad story. So she was actually doing the broadcast, and normally they would have a kind of a pre-produced segment, but she said, you know what? I'm going to do my own thing. And they were just like, okay, fine. She's going to do her own thing. So she starts reading from her script. She reads a bunch of stories, and then she says, in keeping with the WXLT practice of presenting the most immediate and complete reports of local blood and guts news, TV40 presents what is believed to be a television first, in living color and exclusive coverage of an attempted suicide. Then she takes out a .38 caliber Smith & Wesson and shoots herself right behind the right ear.
Oh my gosh.
Then she falls forward violently and everything goes blank. And then they go to like a public service announcement that's already pre-recorded. Now they're freaking out, obviously, because they don't know what's going on. Here's another crazy thing. So they're working on her. They send her to the hospital. She actually wrote.
Wait, so you're talking about the paramedics or the people back at the news station?
No, the paramedics come, but the people back at the news station, like, what do we do? She actually wrote, and they look at her script. She wrote the script for after she shot herself.
Oh my God.
And here's what it said. TV40 news personality Christine Chubbuck shot herself in a live broadcast this morning on a Channel 40 talk program. She was rushed to Sarasota Memorial Hospital, where she remains in critical condition. Now, then she passed away at the hospital. It is one of the and Alexis and I have done a lot of work on the idea of these films that are considered potentially snuff films.
Yeah.
No one has ever really seen this after it happened. People didn't, this happened a really long time ago. It happened in 1974. Apparently nobody taped it, but there are people that claim that they've seen it. There are people that claim that they have the,
footage.
Yeah. And it's considered, this is a horrible thing, but it's
like
considered
lore.
A holy grail of like, of a video. There's a guy named Dan Wilson, who's head of Lost Media Wiki, who's just like, I'm really on the fence as to whether I think the tape will ever be found, but apparently it's there or not. But she was somebody that she had talked a lot about her depression. She had talked about how she couldn't find a mate and all of these things. And it's just incredibly, incredibly sad story. Sorry to start it out this way, but that's what we do.
All right. Well, one thing I have to say in response is not finding a mate is never a reason to be sad.
Yes.
No. We all are enough on our own.
Thank you, Alexis.
And you should never be sad about not finding the right person. The right person may not. Who knows? But don't be sad.
Is anybody the right person at the end of the day?
I mean, they can be, but I hate that. I hate that so many women are just like, I'm alone, and that's the source of their pain. And it's like, you are enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. And then, and also this is 1974 too. Who knows if she was around now, she might have been,
Well, that's the thing. It's all society putting the pressure on women to try to find a partner. And that's why.
Or try to be perfect or skinny or intelligent.
And if you don't have like a picket fence family by the age of 25, then you're a failure.
Something's wrong with you.
At least things are changing.
Absolutely.
That was a very dark day, Billy.
No, I do think it's worth knowing, though. That's super interesting. I hope she's resting in peace because she must have been in a lot of pain to do something like that. And people should not seek that video out. Let the woman rest.
Yes, absolutely.
I can't believe there are people out there
who collect things like that. This morbid sort of fascination. Yeah, I agree.
Whew. All right. Well, coming up, we've got some bitching to do.
Please rise. Court is now in session.
All rise. Call the first witness.
How do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
All right, welcome to On the Stand. If you've been listening, you know what this is. But if this is your first time, welcome. Usually our intros are a little bit more lighthearted than that. But welcome to the fun part of the podcast.
The softer side of Billy is a force thing. That's not his default. He brings the darkness, and we got to tickle him to fucking lighten him up.
All right, lighthearted? Like the Hindenburg explosion? That was lighthearted?
Well, it's just different.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But we support you. That's all that matters.
Thank you.
We support you in your endeavors. Okay, so we're on the stand. Each of us is going to bring a topic, something to the table, and we're going to defend it or prosecute it, and then the other two are going to vote if it's guilty or not guilty at the end. So,
I love that.
Billy, I feel like you should go first for this one.
Please don't. All right, fine. Now, this came from our
God, Billy, don't be so excited.
Facebook group.
You seem like you want to die.
Listen, the Seinfeld finale.
Oh.
On the stand.
Okay.
Now, somebody put this out there. I'm putting it on the stand, and here's what I'm saying. A lot of people give the Seinfeld finale a lot of grief.
Yes.
They say that it tried too hard. It brought in a lot of old characters. Here's how you need to look at the Seinfeld finale. When they're on the plane and the plane is crashing, think of it as they died. Think of it as the court is them, whether they're going to heaven or hell. And all of the people that they've encountered in their lives are on trial. And they're on trial telling them about what they've done.
Yeah, they're airing their grievances.
That's what it is. It's very existential. They have died, they're on trial, and then they get a year of purgatory. So, what say you, Jacqueline Vanek?
Is it guilty? What are you arguing?
I'm arguing.
Is it innocent or guilty?
I don't do my thing yet, but no, I'm going to say it's innocent.
Billy always goes into these not knowing how he feels about them, which is so funny because he has no gumption about any
because
topic
because I'm not a negative person.
No, he's bringing it up for debate.
Oh,
yes.
You want to? So what say you? You want me and Jack to argue it for you? You just want to throw the ball in the air and have us fight over it.
No, but I just said that's the way you have to see it, and obviously, if you see it that way, I think it's good.
I thought that's how people kind of saw it, right? Metaphorically.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I think with a show so rooted in just pop culture royalty, I just don't think you could have won because no one wanted it to end. I think every ending sucks because they didn't want it to end. So it was there was no winning.
But I love a circle back of anything. So it's you're bringing back all the old characters. You're bringing back iconic moments.
Bringing back the mean suit man.
Yes.
I was so excited to see him on the stand testifying against them. And they got Dreams Cafe owner. Oh my gosh. Loved it.
Yeah. You're bringing back all these iconic moments and giving them their last moment to shine. How else would you end that? I think it's so...
George could have died. George's funeral could have been a nice button, in South Park, Kenny, George is the Kenny of Seinfeld.
Yeah,
you know, they could have George's funeral would have been pretty good, or Kramer's.
Oh,
You know?
but then he comes back somehow.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Kramer died on stage a little bit later.
Oh, that is very true.
Okay.
So,
I mean, I loved the finale. I love a good wrap-up moment.
I think there is a no win here. So I think it's not guilty because I don't think you could have done better.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's hard. Yeah, it's hard for a show like that to really have a true finale.
I agree.
feel like if it's not a scripted, dramatic show that really needs to tie it up in a bow, even those shows, the finales are already always horrible.
No, the only finale that nailed it was probably Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad nailed it.
Yeah, Breaking Bad nailed it because it was very finite.
Sopranos didn't nail it.
I loved the Sopranos finale. I thought it was a lot of room for some healthy speculation, and I loved it. I loved the Sopranos, though.
I mean, one of the biggest finale flops was Lost that everybody hated because it was also a purgatory situation.
They reached. It went too long.
Well,
yes, too many seasons.
It jumped the shark a few seasons too early, but I binged it all in one go, so I loved every second of it.
It was good.
But yeah, there aren't many shows that really have a good wrap up at the end. So
nailing the third act is something. Stephen King notoriously has a hard time nailing the third act. Mm-hmm. And when you think about people that can actually nail the third act, Scorsese, it's just like there are certain people that can.
Yeah,
it's the hardest thing to do probably in all of storytelling.
I give it a not guilty.
Not guilty
because it's beautiful from beginning to end, and I'm not going to really fuss over the details.
Okay, all right, Alexis,
I'm next.
Yes, you are.
All right. Well, in keeping with sort of the, I don't know what to call it, the tone, I don't have a fun on the stand. What I have is... It's fun for me.
Okay.
So I'm putting on the stand, and it's a little complicated, so bear with me. This idea of criticizing women's voices, whether it's for upspeak at the end of a sentence, whether it's for vocal fry... in podcasting in particular, we face a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I just need people to know before they do it what they're doing. So this idea that people say shit about women all the time. I mean, I got it more than anything. People are criticizing me about breathing.
Yeah.
And I think what people need to understand is that this is rooted in women didn't used to get to public speak. Men did.
Right.
And then when women would, it would suck because they had no experience public speaking, even though they were speaking for their rights or for human rights or whatever. And it turned into this whole oh, you suck at speaking, let a man talk. And I think the biggest criticizers are other women. And I just want everybody to know that when you talk shit about a woman for vocal fry, you know who made vocal fry famous? Men. Matthew McConaughey is the king of vocal fry. Men made vocal fry a thing, but women get crucified for it constantly.
All right.
So exactly.
Unpack that for a second. All right.
Exactly. So it's men created vocal fry, but women get criticized for it. Men never get criticized for the way they talk on podcasts or whatever. People, you guys, I stealth look at my shit on Reddit, people talking shit about me on the reviews. So it's I love her work, but her voice.
Obviously, when when all you have is your voice and there's nothing to criticize about your looks anymore.
Yeah.
Of course people are going to jump down the barrel and it is mostly women criticizing us. So, which it is interesting, but I mean, it's pretty typical, and I'm not shocked by it whatsoever. But it's funny because you never hear anybody saying shit about a man's voice. And there are a lot of weird voices out there that men have, too.
Sure.
Ben Shapiro.
That's true.
He sounds like he's on 2X.
Well,
what is 2X?
He sounds like he's sped up. And I understand that people are listening in their headphones, but come on. It is misogyny, and it is this weird systemic thing where they're just I think you hit the nail on the head, which I'd never really thought before, is that upspeak, it's all right, we don't want upspeak, and then it seems like vocal fry potentially is trying to fix upspeak, and then that's not good either. So then what do you do?
Well, there's no winning, but there usually isn't any winning.
Ladies, stop being so hard on fucking women.
In general, not just about our voices on the podcast. I mean, I sound like a dumb fucking valley girl all the time.
No, you don't.
But that's just That's just me, baby.
That's show
Showbiz,
business,
baby.
baby.
That's showbiz, baby. And at the end of the day, it's like your work should show enough for what you're doing. Like, this is things that we can't control. You can't control how stupid your voice sounds,
How stupid it sounds. Guilty.
Billy, you're not even near your mic.
Guilty.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Billy.
Okay. I'm going to bring this back down to a very surface level.
I love that
topic
for us.
On the stand today for me is paper straws. Ooh. Now, this is not to say that I am a plastic straw
Gal.
lover.
No.
But I have a big gripe about paper straws because as a straw, they really don't do their job. They make your drink taste like paper. Mm-hmm. They start getting soggy in like 1 minute. Mm-hmm. And also the establishments that are using paper straws are usually the very expensive establishments. Like an Applebee's is not using a paper straw, but like the really fancy coffee place that I go to is. And if like I'm paying $9 for a latte, there is definitely another option for a compostable straw that's not paper.
All right, let's stop that right there. $9 for a latte is not good. You could probably...
It's 2 lattes.
That's 2 lattes, potentially. But I will say this.
Yeah.
I'm a milkshake fan. If I get a milkshake with a paper straw...
It ruins a milkshake.
I take the milkshake and I just dump it out right on the table. I agree with you. And listen, we've all seen the video. We've seen the video of the poor sea turtle.
Save the turtles for sure.
With the
just
straw
a photo.
in its mouth.
It's not a video.
There's a video.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, there's a video. And they got the, a Leatherman or something like that, a pliers. They're pulling out the, yes, I get it. I understand. There are so many worse things in the world. I know that's a bad thing, but there are so many worse things in the world that we can concentrate on. I think we do need to fix that somewhat. You know what? How about this? Reusable plastic straws.
And no.
Give me a plastic straw. You remember Crazy Straws? You guys probably don't because I'm a little bit older than you.
I remember Crazy
Of course
Straw.
I do.
Yeah.
They're still around. You can get them in the shape of your name. Isn't that a Crazy Straw?
Yes.
Yeah. Where you can get it like melded into like Jack. No, there are also so many compostable straws out there that aren't paper. Mm-hmm. You can, maybe they're a little bit more expensive.
Wood.
But if
They've got wood.
They've got wood.
They've got wood straws.
They've got like straws made out of corn. There's so many options, but if I'm paying a crazy amount of money for a smoothie or a coffee or something, I feel like you could like kick it up a notch and get some kind of a compostable straw that isn't paper.
Yes.
It ruins the drink.
I completely agree. And I know that like someone's going to write in because we were just talking about reviews and they're going to be like, oh, there's like the 3 people from LA talking about, they want to have their lattes
straw, and
they want to have their straw. No, that's not what this is about. Sometimes we actually just want to enjoy something. Enjoy the only thing that we can enjoy for the whole week, which might be a delicious beverage.
Yes.
The whole week.
Just one beverage.
Alexis, I'm on a roll here. So.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So, listen, I love the turtles. All right. I'll swim with the turtles.
Turtle.
I wasn't even, but my thing, I'm not supporting a plastic straw. I don't support those at all. I'm just saying there are so many other options other than a paper straw.
Jacqueline
people are just
doesn't
not
like
taking
a
advantage
soppy straw.
Also, you know what's really bad? The pasta noodle straw. Because
the gluten, like osmosis is into your beverage.
Yes. That not only gets soggy, but it starts getting sticky. And then now you're drinking an Aperol Spritz that is now heaped.
Yes.
With a penne pasta.
Yeast.
And then it's sticking to your lips. And then it
beverage.
might actually stick to your lips, and then you pull it off of your lips, and then some skin comes off.
Al dente.
Yes.
Al dente.
Yes. Yeah, so it's not molto bene. It's
molto bene.
Molto pericoloso.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Very peculiar. Precocious.
Dangerous.
Precocious. Look at the root of the word. That's Latin.
All right, so.
It's too smart for me. Paper straws are guilty.
Guilty.
To the death chamber.
Yes, we can say them other ways, everybody.
Also, corporations are responsible for like 99% of all of the global warming.
They're killing us. It's fine.
Anyways, up next is some True Crime Rewind. The First Degree is brought to you by Happy Dance, premium CBD skincare from our favorite, Kristen Bell. So as much as we love losing ourselves in the world of true crime, we all know that sometimes it's nice to just pop out and spend a little time in our happy place so it's a little less dark. And that's what Happy Dance is all about. So Happy Dance makes soothing, relaxing CBD skincare products that bring a little extra calm whenever you need it. So they have 3 products that I cannot get enough of. So one is their super creamy whipped CBD body butter, which I love just slathering over my body after I take a shower. Then they have their soul reviving CBD bath bomb if you just need to chill out, and their multi-purpose CBD coconut melt that can basically just do about anything. So we could all use a little more time in our happy place, and Happy Dance can help take us there. So right now our listeners can get 15% off their first Happy Dance order. Just go to doahappydance.com/firstdegree. That's 15% off your first order of Happy Dance CBD skincare at doahappydance.com/firstdegree.
1/3 of all murder cases in America remain open.
He had told me that if I opened my eyes, he would slit my throat.
Each one is called a cold case.
The DNA evidence taken from the victim was a match. The Linden rapist was at it again.
Based on the hit A&E television program.
A phone call is placed, one that changes a family's life forever.
Cold Case Files, the podcast.
If you could see the fire in his eyes, he screamed at me, "You want it? Get your tape recorder out."
Get new episodes of Cold Case Files every Tuesday on Podcast One, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere you listen to podcasts.
True crime.
Yeah, it's rewind time.
Now it's time for True Crime Rewind.
Yes, that's the
And
type of
here's what
energy.
happened Alexis is trying to tickle me. It's not appropriate. And listen, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole for some reason because I wanted to see what the safest country was.
Iceland or Greenland?
No.
Wait, let me think.
Estonia.
No.
Something small.
Finland.
No. Think.
Norway.
Oh, Greenland.
Think neutral.
Oh, Switzerland.
Yes.
God, let's
Number one.
They don't want us. It's like, let's move there. They'd be like,
Switzerland
nah.
is also the 3rd happiest country.
How do they even judge that? Like,
And also 45 homicides in a country of 8 million.
Wow.
But then I started looking into, as you do, what homicides are there.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
And there's some twisted stuff that's going on in Switzerland.
Okay.
Now, in 1976, there was the Seewin murder case. Now, 5 people were killed, and the suspect remained unknown. But then there was a statute of limitations that expired in 2006. So here's what happened. They actually found the guy who probably did it because they found his rifle in a wall.
Oh.
And then they couldn't charge him because, you know what? They couldn't connect him to it. And then the statute of limitations was over in 2006. So he got away. Not cool. And this is going to be, by the way, for the next one that we do, the next True Crime Rewind, it's going to be even more infuriating when it comes to the idea of statute of limitations and people walking around that have killed people. But
do we know what the history is of the statute of limitations? Like, why?
I think there is no in our country. I can't speak for others because I have not done the research. But in our country, with murder, there is no statute on murder. There's statute on rape in certain states. When Bill Cosby was initially indicted, a lot of the states changed their procedures, and certain states have no statute now on sexual assault or rape allegations. It used to be 7 years. It was 4 even before that in California. But again, state by state, it's just different.
Right.
But I think basically the statute is like you have to protect people from false litigation. Otherwise, people can be like, hey, 30 years ago, homie did this. And he can't protect himself because it happened. If they're innocent, they can't protect themselves because you can't find witnesses to talk, and you can't. As far as technology, it's really hard to prove anything from 30 years ago. It's going to get easier and easier, everyone. So brace yourselves because it's everything we do is now documented.
Right.
So statutes, I think will get smaller and smaller because there's going to be a lot of evidence for everything.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things that we actually saw, me and Alexis and I, with the Golden State Killer, is that there was evidence for the sexual assaults, but they couldn't prosecute those. So what they did was they actually went and said it was kidnapping.
Well, if you moved a woman, so in that particular instance, Joseph D'Angelo brought a woman outside of her home, and I think tied her to a tree or something. Or even moving a woman to another room.
To another room.
Like the attorneys were really smart. They're like, it's technically kidnapping, and kidnapping has no statute. But I think California now, I think it was the Cosby bill that passed. California now has no statute, but they will not take the case unless you have evidence. But a lot of that had to do also with the Catholic Church, with like abuses in the Catholic Church, being able to prosecute those. So it's coming from a lot of angles. It's super interesting. Statutes serve their purpose to protect the innocent, but it's a bummer when someone does shit.
No, it's awful. It's awful because there should be no time limit on justice. Now, there was another case.
We have to protect our liberties. Innocent people have to be protected.
Of course.
And you could get dragged into litigation. Billy, we just did a show where an innocent person was dragged to trial 4 times for a crime he didn't get committed. A crime he didn't commit. So it's like, we fucking hate bad guys. We want to nail them to the wall for every charge when we can. But these things, imagine you got falsely accused. You're going to wish there were statutes and shit like that.
Absolutely.
So it's a two-edged sword.
All right. So another Switzerland murder is the Absinthe murders. And I'm going to go to Atlas Obscura. If you ever gone on that site?
Yes. Wait, by the way, this is such a good tool to use if you're a traveler. So I would go and meet Jared on tour all the time. And every city, you can look up Atlas Obscura and they'll show you all of the crazy shit in the city. Have I ever talked about when we tried to go hunt down the serial killer in Portugal's head?
No, you told me you were going to do it. Jack has always been an Atlas Obscura proponent.
Yeah, there is this serial killer. We're going so off.
No, it's good. Go
Billy's
for it.
thing.
This is the point.
It's the most notorious serial killer in Portugal. I can't remember his name, but they beheaded him after he was killed, and then they put his head in a jar and pickled it or whatever.
Oh, God.
And they were keeping it at this
lab.
room. No, it was a room at a school attached to a hospital.
Ew.
So Jared and I tried to go hunt it down when we were in Lisbon.
Oh, you showed me a picture of this head you were looking for.
And
I
the
remember
head
that,
looks exactly like Jared. It looks like Jared's fucking twin. And that's why we had to go find it so Jared could take a picture next to this head that was floating in a thing. So we spent a whole day, which we didn't have many days in Portugal. We wasted a whole day trying to walk around this hospital trying to find this head. We never ended up finding it because apparently it's on a traveling tour. But
it goes on tour. It's a hot commodity.
His name is Diego something. I'm gonna figure.
No, but it's a redhead. It looks like Jared.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember it now.
Yeah, it looks like Jared if he puts his lips because I think the lips are pressed against the glass, so it looks like Jared when he does his tongue and his lips.
Oh yeah, when he's doing his fake Jared lips.
His fake lip injection lips. Anyways.
Yeah, I love that.
But we found that on Atlas Obscura. So if you're traveling to a random country, we went to a doll museum.
Absolutely. I found Puzzlewood there, which is an amazing place in England. Atlas Obscura is essential. But
it's essential.
In 1905, a guy named Jean Lefray drank himself to the point of delirium. That was not unusual for him. But then when he got home, he got into an argument with his pregnant wife, and then he murdered her and their 2 children before turning the gun on himself.
Jesus.
Now, he had 5 different types of alcohol in his bloodstream. 5 liters of wine,
a nice Long
his drink of
Island
choice. But it was the liquor he reportedly drank the least of that winded up getting the most attention, which was absinthe. So then they started calling it absinthe and the absinthe murders. And he also actually survived the attempted suicide. And he was found by police with a bullet wound to his head, but he was still conscious. So, you know what happened? They decided to ban absinthe.
No.
And the ban has been around for a really, really long time.
So is that where absinthe got the bad rap?
I think so.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, absinthe is known for being, with the wormwood and everything. It's known for...
But does that actually happen, or is that an old wives'
tale? Does it have
tale?
hallucinogenic properties, actually?
Or is that...
what do the scientists say?
The scientists say that I think original absinthe, the absinthe that you buy at the store, no.
It's like when Coca-Cola used to have cocaine in it.
Sure.
So like back in the day.
I've had absinthe in Amsterdam. Is that real absinthe?
Probably not.
Probably not the stuff that guy drank.
Yeah.
I want the banned shit.
Did you kill anyone?
I want that.
I don't think so.
I want everything that's illegal.
Yes.
All right. So that is your True Crime Rewind. Switzerland, the safest country in the world, but there's a little weird shit going on there.
Absinthe, man.
Totally.
Hell of a drug.
Absolutely.
But for now, we're going to hear about the worst things. The worst things that you, all of you people, have done. Hey, friends. I want to tell you about the podcast, The Vanished from Wondery. And it really is the real deal. It's hosted by a woman named Marissa Jones. She started it in 2016. And she focuses on cases that have really been overlooked in the media when it comes to missing persons. In a recent 3-part series, she investigates the case of Ian Eccles, who disappeared in the Cascade Mountains on a hunting trip. And he had a lot of friends, and they set out for a search party to find him. They thought he might have got caught in the snow, but what they uncovered was a lot more stranger and dangerous than they could have anticipated. You really need to check out this show. It's been going on for a while, and she takes a lot of care, which doesn't often happen in podcasts, but she takes a lot of care. So listen to new episodes of The Vanished on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, where you can listen ad-free by joining Wondery Plus and the Wondery app. Wondery, feel the story.
You are a horrible person.
What's the worst thing you've ever done?
Okay, friends, it's time for you to be honest about who you are. And you're just as bad as everyone else. Everyone else just isn't honest about it and hasn't called us yet with their little story.
Listen, also, we've been getting some comments about the worst thing. Well, number one, let's tell people where to call.
Yes, let's. So the number to call if you are a terrible person, which I know you are, 323-539-3516. I'll say it again. 323-539-3516.
So what I was going to say is sometimes we get comments on the Facebook group being like, oh, that wasn't even like a bad thing to do. Well, if you've done something more fucked up and way worse than the stories that we're telling, I think that you need to call in and confess your sins to us because...
In fact, I challenge you to do so.
Yes.
Because please, if you've murdered someone, dangle the carrot. Give me something to do. I'll be like, I really, and then I'll find you and it'll be a whole thing. It'll be a saga between us.
You know what I want more than anything is I'm listening to Live and Die in LA right now. I want nothing more than for us to get one of those.
Yeah.
To like get it from the ground up. Like we can take this to be our own. I guess you guys have done that.
We can do that. Yeah.
We've done that, but it takes years.
Yeah. But this would be a real-time thing.
It would be great. Honestly, sorry, listeners, we wouldn't document this here. We would do this separately and just make this, we'd blow it up. That being said, send us all your shit for better, for worse.
Yes, I want real crimes.
Real crimes in real time.
Real crimes in real time.
Let me just say this. Don't do real crimes just to get on the show.
Yeah, don't commit them now, but if you did it in the past,
definitely tell us.
You can't change what you've already done.
You can make this. You can make this right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That being said, here's our the firsty worsty.
Okay, so my story for the worst thing I've ever done is when I was in my early 20s. To kind of start out, my friend and I were flat broke. We had, I think, like $10 in our bank account. And we knew this older guy who we had met through going out. And he was always known for just kind of treating for guys or girls, would just pay for everybody's tab. And so, like I said, we were broke and we were like, hey, do you want to go out? And he was like, yeah. And so long story short, we went out to the bar. He probably spent like hundreds of dollars on me and my friend. And we go back to my apartment, which to kind of set up the scene was an indoor access that was carpeted, kind of looked like a hotel. Nobody had doormats or anything that would kind of really signify like this was your home. And so we were blackout drunk and we're walking. And honestly, we were so drunk, I started just like pulling on handles because I had no clue like which apartment was mine. And there were some people who didn't lock their doors. And So when we pulled on the door handle, a door handle opened and we walked into a stranger's apartment. And it was a guy who apparently had also been out because he was still in his going out clothes, passed out on his bed, like not even under the covers, like button down shirt, slacks. And me and my friend are drunk and we're fucking idiots. And we were like poking him, like almost like you would poke somebody with a stick, like, hey, you awake? And he had he was asleep or like blackout because his eyes were open, but he was not registering. Like he did not care that we were just like poking the shit out of him, being like, hey. And I have a drunken selfie with him passed out on his bed and me like smiling so fucking creepy. And we leave and I did not realize that my friend left a note on the counter that said, hey, you left your door unlocked, call us. And she left both of our numbers. And so we finally somehow miraculously made it back to the correct apartment. And I wake up the next day and I'm like, whoa, like what a night. And she was like, oh yeah, well you were passed out asleep. The guy texted me and I went back and made out with him. And he tried to have sex with me and I said, no sir. And so all they did was make out. So I got a text from the guy that was like, just because a door's unlocked doesn't mean it's an invitation in. And I thought, holy shit, I'm about to be evicted from my apartment. He's going to go to like the leasing office and be like, this person broke in. But the best part was honestly that picture that I took, blackout with the guy who was asleep, because I ended up using it as a Halloween invitation party or an invitation for the party I was having. And it said, and I can email it to you if you want, but it said, do you want to get spooky or be dead like this guy? And it's kind of the worst thing I've ever done, but also I feel like I got karma because this past year I came home into my apartment, which is different from the one that I lived at then, and was watching TV, smoking weed, and fell asleep on the couch. Did not realize I also didn't lock my apartment door, and a man came into my apartment and I woke up to him like standing in the hallway in front of the couch, and it was so scary, and luckily nothing happened. I was safe, but I feel like I got my karma because I also broke into someone's apartment unknowingly. So that's kind of the worst thing I've ever done. Have a good night, guys. Bye.
Oh.
Yeah. There are so many twists and turns to this story.
I want to start with the beginning.
Okay, we're going to start with the beginning.
Okay, so drunkenly getting home. Been there, girl.
Haven't we all?
Hey, let's try some knobs. They all look like ours, right? It is kind of a mindfuck that all of the entrances to all the apartments in the building at that time look the same.
Yes. Yeah, I
Been
mean,
there.
Not great for like a young drunk person. Something like this happened at a party of mine that I had at a similar type of apartment complex where somebody at my party, this guy, went outside to smoke a cigarette or something, then came back and wanted to go to sleep. But instead of coming back to my apartment, he came back to my neighbor's apartment, who was also a man, and just decided to like pass out on his couch. So this happens all the time. That's not the bad part of this story.
No. It's perfectly, listen, we all have been there.
I bet a third of our listeners have probably accidentally gone into the wrong apartment and either passed out or like...
I have not.
I haven't. Billy, you're a third.
You know what? I've seen it happen in college.
Yeah, to a quote-unquote friend. It was you.
To a friend.
Asking for a friend.
That, like, because they've gone up to a room that they thought was their room, because that was their room last year. And they go in there. Yeah, all that jazz.
So we're going to go from the beginning to now what she is doing. Now you're poking a guy.
Okay, so this I love, only because it's such a Friends thing to do. They like poke ugly naked guy from across the balcony. I know you guys don't like Friends. I like both Friends and Seinfeld, by the way.
God, don't understand
my
what
point
you're
is
saying.
that he is asleep, and maybe in your drunken head, you sound like a kind person.
Oh, that's hilarious when you're drunk.
You're like, easy, but also, is he okay? I mean, he's got his shoes on, he's face down. Maybe let's see if he's okay. And then once we realize his eyes are sort of open, which means he's alive, is like, all right.
Actually, that doesn't mean he's alive.
Yeah, he was alive. You can tell. Clearly, this guy was alive. You didn't assault him. You just took a selfie and made sure he was okay.
Which is, I mean,
it's a violation. Absolutely.
Definite violation.
No, you going into an apartment is a violation. That's not yours. But that's an accident. But you up the ante and then you violated his safety. But that being said, all of it was negated when your friend went back and made out with him.
I know.
So honestly, like he's clearly safe with you.
Who is the jealous little shit that sent the second text message?
Oh yeah, that's
like, Mom. Well, it obviously wasn't the guy that lived there because he got his makeup. Or she said it was a different number.
No,
it's a lady, it's a lady friend, or maybe his hookup buddy who was like, because he probably conveniently left out the fact that he made out with one of them later. I bet you it was like, hey, these two girls come in my place, and he left that other part out, that he hooked up with one of them. And then his lady friend was like, I'm going to give them a piece of my mind.
Oh, that was a great story.
Honestly, a great story.
I mean, the fact of her using that as a picture for a party and calling him a dead guy.
Honestly, I'm going to up the ante. What I personally would have done, I would have sent invitations to people. I would have printed those out and I would have put googly eyes on his eyes and then mailed them to people.
Instead of doing like a black bar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Googly eyes, or maybe like black bar and googly eyes on top.
I mean, she really, honestly, should have invited him to the party.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Like, send the guy an invite.
Yeah.
Honestly, he might have tried to be like,
He's your
you owe me
friend's
some
boyfriend.
copyright, bitch. He might have tried to license that photo to you. Honestly, I would have handled it similarly. I think you turned lemons into lemonade, and I'm proud of you.
And I would like to say, if you're listening out there, please email us this photo. We won't share it, but I need it for our own.
Unless we can, and we'll put googly eyes on it.
Yeah, unless you give us,
But I will actually say this: lock your door.
Lock your fucking doors, guys.
Dude, real quick, the one time someone came into my apartment, I was on the phone with my dad in my underwear. My door was unlocked in Hollywood. A guy came in, walked in, and you know what he was doing? Trying to see what doors were unlocked. He was just coming in like, if someone's door is unlocked, they forget it, I'll rob them.
Yeah.
And I fucking chased him out of my apartment, and I yelled at him down the stairs, and I was like, you're trying doors, aren't you? Like, if you do it enough, you'll find one unlocked.
That's
and
terrifying.
He did. Luckily, I was home.
Yeah.
But yeah, friends, lock your doors.
Whew. All right. Next one.
All right. So we're going to do another one because all of you have been screaming for more, because honestly, you guys are the entertainment here. So brace yourselves.
Okay, so I have been listening to the worst things that people have ever done, and I felt so bad because I needed to hear something really that I felt was worse before I could share. So here it is. I was in high school, and my cousin was a senior. I was a freshman, and we live in a small town. So we had a coach / gym teacher who was pretty evil. Like, she told girls that they were fat. She would say things like, oh, looks like you ate a little too much pie over Thanksgiving. Maybe we should run a few extra laps. And my cousin and I were very athletic, but we both just hated that she was so mean to our friends that we'd known our whole lives. So fast forward to our season for sport, and I'm not going to share too much about that, but I hopped over to my cousin's house and noticed that she was making brownies. And I thought, oh my gosh, I love brownies. Yay, we're going to have a little snack. And she says, no, these are special brownies. You can't have any. And then I thought, oh my gosh, my cousin is making paw brownies. No way. But it gets better. She informed me that no, these are special brownies for my coach, and they were laxative brownies. And so as she was grating the X-Lax into the brownie mixture, she kept asking me, is this enough? What do you think? Is this enough? And I thought, well, she'll probably only eat one. So you might as well make sure that you get your bang for your buck. So I just encouraged her to keep putting the X-Lax into the brownie mixture. Again, 14 years old, assuming that she would only eat one brownie. The brownies get delivered to the coach the next day. We go on a road trip, and I'm in a different bus. I find out later that the coach was sitting there with her brownies from her secret admirer and bragging to everyone about these great brownies, and then proceeded to eat almost all of them. I never really knew what happened. I never really heard the rest of the story, but I do know that she did not come to school for at least a week. And when she did come back, she looked like one of the wrestlers on the wrestling team. She looked like she had cut about 20 pounds. So that is the worst thing that I have, I guess should say, been involved in. I'm horrified to even admit this, but she was not a nice person. So I hope that someone else agrees. Thanks.
Laxative brownie gal.
She could have killed her.
Yes, she could have killed her.
She might have sent her to the hospital for dehydration.
Listen, I think personally, if you're using X-Lax, you're using like something over the counter, odds are low that you'll die.
No.
Does X-Lax even work?
Over the counter, you can use gasoline is over the counter. You can still kill somebody.
Gasoline
By drinking
is not
it?
over the counter. Gasoline is not sold at a pharmacy. Like, what does that even mean?
Okay, you go to CVS, you know what? Windex is over the counter. You give somebody Windex.
Windex is a cleaning product. An over-the-counter pharmacy item is not the same
But you're
as
supposed to
a chemical intended for something else.
You can still kill somebody by liver failure with Tylenol.
Yeah, no, you can definitely
can.
overdose on most things.
I think that this is a completely rational. One brownie is a rational assumption.
No.
Honestly, also, it wasn't her. She was like sort of along for the ride. These brownies were already being made. But you know what? Fuck that gym teacher. She sounds like she sucks.
Yeah.
Also, I need to go back to the fact that she's sitting on this bus bragging about how she has a secret admirer. Like, go fuck yourself.
Honestly, no one cares that you have a secret admirer. No one cares that you have a secret admirer. Zero people care. Also, everyone does.
This should be a telltale tale.
Yeah.
That you should not ingest anything from a secret admirer. I would never put anything into my body that was from a secret person.
You know what?
Because usually
there's no accountability.
Usually they're not an admirer. They're trying to murder you.
That's right.
One of the things I always said was that working in newspapers.
Always?
Newspapers we would get sometimes like donuts would be sent to us.
Yeah, no.
Or whatever, or pizzas or whatever. And I was just like, and then people would just eat it. And I was like, we are the enemy.
Yeah.
Someone's going to kill us at some point, and I'm surprised that never happened.
Well, even for Lady Gang, like, I mean, it's so nice when people like bake us cookies or something. For Jared's band too, like people will bake them baked goods and stuff, and I'm sure they're fine. But what if they're not?
Yeah, we're not okay with it. We're all at risk. There's a lot of fucked up people out there.
Yeah.
So as sweet as you are, even if it's coming from this very authentic, sincere, altruistic sort of intention, we're too scared.
Yeah. I'm not eating anything from a stranger.
You know what I want? An enamel pin. That I can trust. An enamel pin or a cross stitch?
Yes.
You know, like
That's
people have sent us those. Like, we can't ingest
nothing edible.
anything.
Nothing edible. Or a sealed bottle of alcohol would be nice.
Sealed is nice. The thing is, when so many people fucking hate you, you just can't trust it.
Yeah, okay. Well, now we're going into personal territory.
What?
But
Me? Wait, people hate me?
I don't know. You're
fuck. Am I projecting?
A little bit. Okay. Well, we're going to move right on in, I think,
to the Costanza stanza.
To the Costanza stanza.
It is a time.
Take us to the end, Alexis.
Today's Costanza stanza is called Kramer Made Me Pose on Velvet. Honestly, next time we should get bongos. One of you.
Ooh,
anyways, I'm going to keep going.
Okay.
A fainting couch. Red. I pose my body like a snake. My face is filled with dread. My chest hair glistening with might. A shiny bald head, reflecting the light. With every click of the shutter, I hate myself more. Imagining the pictures, I want to be dead on the floor. The velvet couch I'm posing on is itchy and hot. I'm desirable, I'm sexy. Just kidding, I'm not. I asked Kramer to paint me like one of his French girls, a request that he declined. But he'd shoot me with his camera, he said, if I stayed in line. Kramer made me pose on velvet, and I've never looked worse. Kramer made me pose on velvet. It's not sexy. It's perverse.
Amazing.
And then end it right there.
Fantastic.
Bye.
Done.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. And I bet it can be hard work. You know what's easy? Bundling policies with Geico. Geico makes it easy to bundle your homeowners or renters insurance, along with your auto policy. It's a good thing, too, because you already have so much to do around your home. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. It's Geico easy. Visit geico.com today. That's geico.com.
Looking for a killer entertainment deal? What's better than free TV? Pluto TV is the home for true crime lovers. Watch 24/7 channels of unsolved mysteries, cold case files, forensic files, and CSI, plus thousands of criminally good movies, TV shows, and documentaries, all for free. No signups, no fees, no contracts, ever. Download the free Pluto TV app on any device.
Peacock fuels your true crime obsession with exclusive new originals like John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise.
He said to me, clowns can get away with murder.
Dr. Death, the undoctored story.
This guy's dangerous.
And Epstein's shadow, Ghislaine Maxwell.
She inherited Jeffrey Epstein's secrets.
There was this whole other world going on.
Plus the most bingeable crime series, Buried in the Backyard and Snapped. And with the Dateline 24/7 channel that's always on.
Did you want her dead?
You can't not obsess. Sign up now at peacocktv.com.
Grab a 30-day free trial of Live by Live Plus, and you'll get unlimited skips, commercial-free music, and all of the podcasts and live streaming events you can handle. Visit livexlive.com/podcast1 to learn more and start your free trial.